Have you ever stopped to think about how a single passage, just one short piece from a core religious text, can hold so much specific detail?
Oh, absolutely. It's often surprising.
Yeah, I mean, we're not just talking general ideas, are we? It's almost like a step-by-step instructions for daily life packed in there.
It really is. When you actually, dive deep into these texts, you find these layers of really precise commands and nuances in interpretation that you might just skim over otherwise. It's a whole deeper understanding just waiting there.
Exactly. And uncovering that is, well, that's our mission today on the deep dive. We are going to focus in, really zoom in on one specific passage from the Quran.
Right.
It's Surah An-Nur, which means the light, and we're looking specifically at verse 24.31.
And for this deep dive, our source is an excerpt called Quran, Modesty for Believing Women. It gives us the actual text of 24.31, which is crucial.
Yeah.
But importantly, it also includes a widely accepted scholarly take on some of the key terms, giving us that essential context.
Okay, so what can you expect as we go through this?
Well, we're going to carefully unpack this verse, sort of piece by piece, command by command. We'll use our source directly to point out the specific instructions and, importantly, those common interpretations tied to them.
The goal really is to pull out those key insights, those nuggets of knowledge.
Exactly. Helping you get quickly up to speed on this really significant text and understand, what it means in practice.
Yeah.
Ready to get into it.
Let's do it. So to start, it's really important to know that Quran 24.31 is speaking directly to believing women.
Right.
And it lays out a series of commands about their conduct and their appearance. It makes it a foundational text for understanding modesty in Islam.
Okay, so it begins, and this feels quite direct, doesn't it? And tell the believing women to lower their gaze and guard their private parts, starting with gaze before anything else external. What's the significance there? Does that kind of set a particular tone for what modesty means here? That's a great question. It's really interesting how it links the internal lowering the gaze implies, controlling thoughts and intentions.
Ah, okay.
With the external act of guarding one's private parts. It suggests right from the get-go a kind of holistic approach.
Holistic? How so?
Well, that true modesty starts inside, in how you think and perceive things, not just what you wear.
So it's not just about what you reveal physically, but maybe what you even look at, or perhaps allow yourself to think about. That's definitely deeper than just clothing.
It absolutely broadens the scope.
Okay, so from that internal focus, the verse then moves to external appearance, specifically adornment, it says, and not expose their adornment except that which necessarily appears thereof. Now that phrase, except that which necessarily appears, that sounds like it could mean different things.
It does, and our source highlights it as a key phrase, but doesn't elaborate extensively on its interpretation itself.
So what are some common ways that's understood? What might necessarily appear?
Well, generally, scholarly discussion around this often points towards what's, difficult to conceal during normal daily life.
Like what, for example?
Perhaps things like the face and hands, for instance. It seems to aim for a balance between modesty and, just being able to function in the world.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. A practical consideration. So after setting that general rule about what not to show, the verse gets incredibly precise.
It does.
And our source gives us the specific Arabic terms here, and to draw their head covers, khumurihinna, over their bosoms.
Exactly. The source is very clear, providing khumurihinna for head covers and juyubihinna for bosoms.
Right.
And crucially, this specific instruction, our source states it's widely interpreted by scholars as a command to cover the hair, the neck, and the chest area.
Wow, okay, so hair, neck, and chest. That's a very specific way to wear the head cover based on that interpretation, not just the hair.
Precisely. It really underscores the level of detail and the guidance provided in the verse.
That level of detail is quite striking.
Okay, so we've covered what should generally be concealed and the specific instruction about head covers. Then the verse shifts again. It gives this remarkably detailed list of people, specific individuals, to whom women are permitted to show their adornment without those restrictions.
Yes, it's quite an enumeration.
Let's read it out because the specificity is important here. It says women should not expose their adornment except to their husbands, their fathers, their husbands' fathers, their sons, their husbands' sons, their brothers' sons, their sisters' sons.
It keeps going.
Right. Their women, that which their right hands possess, or those male attendants having no physical desire, or children who are not yet aware of the private aspects of women. That is quite a list.
It is. And if you think about it, listing these exceptions so precisely really defines the boundaries of modesty within family and social circles.
Yeah, it's not just one rule for everyone.
Exactly. It's carefully marked out for specific relationships and situations. And regarding that phrase, that which their right hands possess, yes.
Our source just gives the phrase itself. But it's worth noting that in many traditional interpretations, this is often understood to refer to female slaves.
I see. So incredibly detailed guidance, even down to who gets exceptions. But what I find really interesting is that the verse doesn't stop with just physical covering. It moves into actions, saying, "And let them not stamp their feet to make known what they conceal of their adornment." This seems to push the idea of modesty beyond just clothes.
That's a really sharp observation. It absolutely does.
How so? What does that add?
Well, it highlights that modesty isn't only about what you wear or don't wear, it's also about how you carry yourself.
Your conduct.
Exactly. How you move, how you act. It suggests avoiding actions that might, maybe unintentionally, draw attention to adornment that's meant to be concealed.
Ah, okay. So it's about a certain self-awareness in behavior, too.
Right. It sort of completes that holistic picture we talked about earlier. It's not just static covering, it's dynamic conduct as well.
That's a really powerful point, and maybe easily missed. Okay, so then the verse wraps up with this callback to faith, doesn't it?
Yes, it concludes, "And turn to Allah, all of you, O believers, that you may succeed."
Which connects all these detailed rules, the gaze, the covering, the exceptions, the conduct, back to their ultimate purpose within the faith.
It ties it all together perfectly. It frames these practices not just as, social rules, but as part of striving for spiritual success.
So when we look at all these commands together, the gaze, the general covering, the specific head cover use, the detailed exceptions, the conduct, it's clear this single verse offers a really comprehensive roadmap for modesty from this particular religious viewpoint.
It really does. And the sheer concentration of detail suggests how significant these specific behaviors are considered within this framework.
It's more than just a guideline, isn't it? It feels almost like a blueprint.
That's a good way to put it. A blueprint for daily conduct. And understanding that level of detail gives you a much deeper insight into the practical application of faith and, by extension, into cultural and religious practices shaped by it.
It truly does. So just to recap, we've taken a close look at Quran 24.31. We've unpacked its key instructions for believing women regarding modesty, starting with lowering the gaze and guarding private parts.
Then moving to the specific command about drawing head covers over the bosoms, interpreted as covering hair, neck, and chest.
Followed by that very detailed list of who can see their adornment.
And finally, the instruction about conduct, not stamping feet to reveal hidden adornment.
It's a lot of very precise guidance packed into just one verse.
It really is, isn't it? The level of detail is quite remarkable.
It certainly is. And that brings us to a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. Given the incredible detail we've seen in this single verse, covering everything from internal disposition to physical covering, specific relationships, even physical movements, what does that tell us about the importance placed on specific behaviors and appearances within this religious framework?
And perhaps how might guidance, this detailed, actually shape the day-to-day lives and experiences of those who adhere to it?